Okay, welcome back, teacher fam. My name is Jenna from Oh Happy Day Teaching. Today I'm talking all things student engagement. So you want to increase student engagement in your classroom, you want students actively participating, you want students wanting to share out. I got you. In this student engagement game bundle, you're not going to have to change anything. You're just going to add to what you're already doing to get students engaged in the activities, the learning that you're doing in your classroom. So let's get into it. I'm going to go over all of the games that are included in this bundle, and then I'll link it down below. So if you want to purchase it, you can as well. Of course, you don't have to purchase it. Use Tic Tac Toe. You would add this onto any content area. So students are doing an activity, say they're doing a worksheet, you would have two teams. So like I would have them name themselves Team A, Team B. They're going against each other. Anytime a student from either Team A or Team B is doing a great job, you can go up to them, you can say, hey, you can add a piece to your Tic Tac Toe board. They would come up, they would add something, and then they'd keep track of their points at the end. Whichever team wins either just wins bragging rights, or they can win a prize if you want them to win that. There's also a larger one if you have more teams or more students. This game is Capture the Flag. So this game does require some little small materials. You would put a sticky note on each of the little squares that you want students to try to capture. So each time it's their turn, they start at their square and they want to move over squares to try to capture the flag from another team. You can decide to defend your team by staying in your square, and then that means somebody cannot steal your game piece, right? Like they can't take your flag if you're in your square. So you would decide whether you want to move to another square to take from another team, or you want to defend your own team. And so this, you would split students obviously into equal teams, and then each time it's their turn, they're making that decision whether they're moving or defending. And you can have multiple players at a time. Maybe they would just mark with like a pink X if they're the pink team, blue X, so on and so forth. But this one would be really fun if you have a larger class size and you want students all kind of being able to participate in one game together. This one's called Squares, and this is fairly easy. What students are doing is each time it's their turn, right? Students can work in teams. I would just give them different colors like blue, green, purple, orange, right? Each time it's their turn, they would connect two squares. Even if a square has like different colors, like so, if they are the person who connects the last square, they get to write their team's name in it. So like this would be the green team, and then the team with the most squares at the end is the winner. So even if the team already has red and blue marks, it's completing a square that wins you that square. So each time it's their turn, they want to try to make a square. It's called Get 4. It's pretty self-explanatory. Two teams are going against each other. They are trying to get 4 in a row. So when it's a team's turn, they would just come up to the board. They would select where they want to place it. The next team would go. They say they want to go here, right? So on and so forth, back and forth until a team does get 4 in a row. To the finish, and you will need a dice or some sort of something. Maybe they are using their computer for like a random dice generator if you don't have physical dice that you can have students using. So each time it's a team's turn, they would come up, that person would roll the dice, and they would mark whichever number they landed on. So if they landed on 2, they would mark, okay, we've gotten 2, right? We rolled 2. Then the next time it's somebody's turn, they want to roll something other than 2. It's the first team to roll all 6 sides that wins. So this one's kind of like a little bit of a game of luck as well. The number is really fun. Students are going, this one's like, I would say, the easiest game in the bundle. Anytime a student is on task, you say, hey, Becky, you're on task, right? They can come up, they can add their initials into the box with the number, and then at the end of class, you use a random number generator to pick like 3 or 4 numbers. All of those students are the winners. Chance is similar to the guess a number, but you would want these all covered up. So you start the game by presenting this. You would cover them all up, whether that be like little sheets of paper or sticky notes. Anytime it's a team's turn, they would come up, take the sticky note off, and then they would add that amount of points to their team. If it's negative, then they would obviously subtract that from their team total. So this one's fun because they don't know if it's going to be negative or positive. Takedown is a game where students are working in team to try to take down another team. So when it is their turn, they can decide to either take down another team or again defend their team. So say I am team 2 and it's my turn, I can decide to put an X by team 1, or I can take an X away from my own team if I have an X. 3 X's takes your team down. So if you get 3 X's, you're officially taken down. You cannot take anybody else down until you start to erase X's. So again, students are on task. You can say, oh my gosh, so-and-so, you're doing such a great job. Why don't you come on up? They decide to take down a team, right? Once that team is taken down, they have to start using X's to try to get back into the game. Just some other versions like spring, Halloween, winter. Word wheel is anytime a student's on task, they can come up, they can select a letter, say they want to pick E, they put E in their word bank, write their amount of letters, then they're trying to make words out of the letters they've selected. Obviously, they're probably not going to try to make a word on their first or second turn in the game. They'll probably have to wait until they have been playing the game for a little bit to start to make words, because they're going to want to collect as many letters as possible. And they can decide whether they want to capture a new letter or make a word. They can't do both on a turn. So if they want to make a word, that is their turn. Feed your animals. All the students are working in teams. Each time it's their turn, they can come up and take something from the farm and feed it to their team. The team that has the most well-fed animal at the end is the winner. And feed your animal, there's 2 different versions as well. Pop It, this one's kind of like the guess a number game. It's very simple, it's very easy for students to use. If a student's doing great, they come up, they pop a letter or pop a bubble, and then they keep track of their score. Once they pop all their bubbles, they get 1 tally, and I would say the team with the most tallies at the end is the winner. And our last game is Randomizer, and this one's kind of fun because they can either add to their team, they might select adding to their team, or they might select adding to another team, or they might select a workout of choice. So again, you would have this covered up. Students would come up, rip off the paper. You would say, oh, add 5 to your team. They can add 5 to their team. If they select do 3 lunges each leg, they would have to do those lunges, and that would be what they get as part of their what they've selected. Of course, all of these games are editable, and they're all made in Google Slides. So if you don't like the rules to any of the game, or you want to slightly adapt them for your classroom, make them more user-friendly, any of the rules on the rule slides or any of the playing slides as well are all editable and all adaptable. The point of making the student engagement bundle is so that students are engaged in the content that you're already doing. It's to add to what you're already doing, and not to add to your plate, but to make something that's a little bit gamified, a little bit more fun for students. And it's just an easy way where you don't have to adapt what you're learning. You can adapt the engagement strategy. And so I really hope that you take a chance and play with your students. Thank you so much for watching.